Wapak, if they do what they did last week against Bath, they will have a good game.
And we are about set for the kickoff. And Davy Briggs will be kicking off for the Bath Wildcats.
Here we go.
And it's the opening of the WBL season.
Let's play football.
Cale Tabor with the kick, and he's out over the 35 to the 37, 38-yard line. Nice kick return, good starting position for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, real good front set up for him, and he went down the sideline.
Yeah, I'm still
stuck on last night.
Still stuck on the big win last night.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good return by Mr. Tabler.
Redskins offense will be led by Kyle Gibson at quarterback, a 6'2", 175-pound senior.
Off the wing tee with Herb in the backfield.
Yeah, Herb is a horse at over 230 pounds. Up the middle to Herb. Herb crushed at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's not a good sign for Wapak fans, but hopefully they'll be able to open that up a little bit. That was a good defense by Bath.
Yes, it was. Wapak, that's their bread and butter, is up the middle, and Brandon Herb, about a 1-yard gain.
Now, Steve, you talked about after the kickoff that was a great field position to start off. How important is that in a game?
It's very important. And Gibson up under quarterback. Hand off to the left side to Herb. Herb around left end.
Little reverse.
Yeah, gets about 4 yards. It's going to be about 3rd and 5 for the Redskins.
And a little misdirection on that play. Herb getting the second handoff.
Beautiful night for a football game.
Isn't it, though? This is wonderful.
Absolutely gorgeous. Although the sun's hitting us right in the eyes right here, hopefully it'll get better.
Well, it is Friday night. As that sun goes down, those lights come on. There's a reason that show is called Friday Night Lights.
There you go.
Yeah, Doug Hurt brings the play in from the sideline. Gibson up under quarterback. And it's a run around the right side by Greg Stahl, and Stahl will not get the first down. It's going to be about 4th and 2. Wapak will have to punt, 3 and out on their first possession.
In regards to last week, they were 6 of 7 on their possessions for touchdowns. Tonight, they're set down on their first possession.
Colin Bishop, a speedster, back deep to receive the punt for the Wildcats.
Oh, and they almost got that, too.
Nice punt back to the 5-yard line for Bishop, and he's hemmed in. He gets a little space, and he's going to be out to about the 14-yard line.
Got a flag on the play, folks.
And that might go back halfway to the goal line on this penalty. Yeah, it's against Bath.
So it'll be half the distance, or?
Block in the back against the Wildcats.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be at the 7-yard line.
So poor starting position for the Bath Wildcats. If Wapak can defensively hold them down at this end of the field, it would benefit them.
Yep.
There's another concern being that close to the end zone, isn't there, Brian?
I'm sorry?
Being backed up against the end zone like that, there's another big concern.
Oh, great concern. Whenever you're running offense out of the end zone, there's less room to move, and the defense has to attack. If a Wapak attacks that offense, Bath might be in trouble.
Bath's quarterback, number 5, Brad Davis. He's a junior, 6'2", 160 pounds. He can run the football, and he also throws. Davis up under center. Handoff up the middle. Not much for the Wildcats, maybe a yard, Brian.
Yep, right up the middle he went, and the Wapak Redskins, sorry about that, the Wapak Redskins just made a good stop, 1-yard gain.
And that was Aaron Smith on the carry.
That almost looked like the exact same play that Wapak started with the same result, didn't it?
Yes, it did. A little different field position, though, for the Wildcats being backed up inside the 10. Pitch to the right side.
Good defense. Good
Colin
defense.
Bishop on the run around the right side, and maybe a gain of 2.
They swarmed it over on the left side.
It's going to be a 3rd and 6 for Bath.
One thing to notice is, why he did have to cut it in, but he had to cut it in, which means he wasn't able to get out to the outside and to the sideline, which that's that containment you hear talked about.
That was that swarming defense. He had about 3 or 4 defenders out there. He had no choice.
Wide receiver split wide left and wide right. Davis underneath center, and he's going to throw the football down the right sideline to Corey Lee over his outstretched hands, and the ball was going to be out of bounds if he did catch it. So Bath Wildcats are going to be punting from deep inside their own territory.
Now, would you go for this, Anthony? Would you go for this on the punt?
Go for the block?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure would. Because even if they don't get it, they're in good field positions regardless of what happens.
Matt Weiss in the end zone to punt the football.
He almost got it.
Wapak almost did get it. Ball goes out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Wapak will take over.
And that does qualify as good field position.
Well, the snapper snapped it low. It hit the ground, and then the punter had to pick it up and kick away.
So Kyle Gibson, second chance on offense for the Redskins. Brings the play in from the line of scrimmage. And we're going to see a lot of that Brandon Erb tonight.
I do believe so. He had 24 carries last week. I think they're going to go back to him again.
Well, our first 2 drives, both 3 and out. Brian, earlier you talked about it being a defensive game. I think we just saw a perfect example of that, don't you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be a defensive battle. The first one to score will have to hold it on for the other team.
Gibson rolls right, hands off, up the middle to Erb. 8-yard gain by Erb. Nice handoff and nice fake by Kyle Gibson around the right side on the bootleg.
The line is opening them up now. I think they're getting in a groove right now. That line, all they got to do is get warmed up, and they'll start spreading that line out.
Yeah, we've got about a 2nd and 7, or 2nd and 3, excuse me, for the Redskins. Handoff to Erb, right up the gut, and Erb picks up the first down. He's going to move the chains.
Big old gap on the right side that he had to run through.
Down to about the 24-yard line. So Wapak just outside of the red zone. We're going to hear that name. I'm telling you, folks, we're going to hear that name, Erb, a lot. Another handoff on the inside.
That was Connor Pickens. Just a straight dive on the right side.
Connor Pickens, the ball carrier.
And one thing I like about this offense is there's nothing real fancy about it. It's just right at you, up the line.
In your face.
Beat them up.
It's a 5-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Redskins. Handoff left side to Erb. Erb down to the 10-yard line.
Yep, they're already tearing them up.
Power running by the Redskins. And the line advantage, weight-wise, for the Redskins have an advantage, Brian.
It sure does seem to be. I haven't looked at the weights yet, but it sure does seem to be. They are pushing them around on the defensive end.
Gibson under center. 2 backs in the backfield. Left man flanker on the slot. Another up the gut for the Redskins.
Looked like a loss, but he still gained about a half to 1 yard. There are going to be some things that they can utilize off this offense, handing up and putting it up the middle, where he's going to be able to do a play action and do a route off the side in the flats. There's all sorts of things you can do once you establish that run game like that.
Gibson under center. 2nd and goal around the right side.
Wow, that's power running.
That's Erb again. There's nothing fancy.
Get a second look at that play here.
And Herb bounces off one tackle and has the nose for the end zone. He's cut down at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, as we're saying, nothing fancy at all. Just straight nose football.
Gibson under center. Third and goal, excuse me. Another handoff
Right
to
up
Herb,
the middle, it's a
and
touchdown.
it's over for a touchdown. Redskins draw early blood against the Wildcats.
Pretty dominating right there.
Yeah, that was that, talking to Coach Fry before the game, we talked about playing. Well, there's another look at the touchdown. Yeah, just went right up behind his line, followed him in.
Yeah, that push that they got on the offensive line is just incredible.
Mickey Grodehouse in for the kick point after. It's up. It's through the middle of the uprights. Wapak 7. Wildcats nothing. 5:56 mark in the first quarter.
Redskins 7, Bath nothing.
Brian bring up what you talked about earlier, is opening up options. If you keep running that play up the middle, they're going to kind of pinch in on that. Isn't that going to open up some stuff around the outside?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He keeps on going up the middle, even knowing they can just keep on doing what they're doing right now.
And here's a replay of that last touchdown by Herb. Herb, the workhorse on that drive for the Redskins.
What they're doing is establishing an attitude that will drown out Bass' motivation and they'll completely tire him out.
Back deep for the Wildcats is Colin Bishop.
Colin Bishop back for the Wildcats to receive the kickoff.
Yeah, one thing to remember, though, we're still in the first quarter. This game is not over, and I would not be surprised to see Bath really put the push on this drive and try to answer back Wapak's touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about the defenses. Once Wapak made that first touchdown, it's going to be declared by their own defense of how Bath reacts.
A kick along the sideline, and the ball's going to be at the 13-yard line for the Wildcats. Nice kick by Grodehouse.
Terrible field position once again for Bath Wildcats.
And Bath starting deep in their own territory for their second drive of the evening.
I formation here.
Brad Davis, handoff up the middle. Not much there. Redskins defense is pretty stout.
Yep, they were stout last week too, where the Bell Fountain Chieftains only scored 10 points.
No gain on the play. Bath, second and 10. Deeper in their own territory. Handoff up the middle again. Not much trickery on the Wildcats offense.
I'll tell you what, right now in this game, Wapak is dominating both sides of the field, both sides of the offense and defense.
And they're doing that by the lines. The offensive, defensive lines are doing their job.
Davis, pitch back, and it's
look
going
at
to be
that.
a sack back
That's right.
at the 7-yard line.
They got in there quick.
Yeah, and they played that one out of the shotgun.
And that sack
There's
was
a replay.
That sack was by Barnes.
Good defense by the Wapak Redskins.
And there were 3 Redskins right there on him.
There was a couple assists on that one.
And again, Bath punting from their own end zone.
Go after it.
Matt Weiss with the kick.
Ooh, that was close. That was close. Mr. Greg Stahl, he could have called for a fair catch. He didn't.
And that was a perfect form, tackle too. Came in low, had his head up, wrapped both arms around him, and took him down. So that was that picture perfect, textbook tackle.
Quarterback up under center. Pitch to the right side, down at the 45-yard line. Not much of a gain. Good defense by the Wildcats.
Yeah, he was tackled by number 23, Keaton Sullivan.
Let's see if they stick to right up the middle, though. They just went on the outside, but maybe they go back right up the middle. It's been pretty positive for them.
Kyle Gibson up under center. One receiver split wide left.
And yeah, Brian, they did. They came right back up the middle.
Yeah,
Don't fix a wheel that's not broken, is what I say.
Yep, and there's Keaton Sullivan right there again, number 23. That's 2 in a row for him. He was tackled by a couple different, couple Wildcats, but he was the one coming up on the bottom of the pile.
Gibson, 3rd and long, 3rd and about 7, brings the team to the line of scrimmage. Wide receiver split wide and left side. And I believe we're going to have a timeout on the field.
Earlier, the sack for Wapak was Trevor Raines.
So we're going to take a break. This is Game Face Ohio. We'll be right back.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for Bright Lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
7-0 of the Bath Wildcats. 3:24 left in the. 3:24 left in the first quarter. Wapak score came on a 3-yard touchdown run by Brandon Erb, who had over 200 yards last week in Wapak's win. Kyle Gibson back, little screen pass left side to Erb, 40, 35,
He had some blockers.
30, down to the 25, and knocked out of bounds at
That
about the
was-
24-yard line. Late flag on the play.
That was beautifully set up, and just like I was saying, you keep on going up the middle, it's open up so many other things.
Yes.
And
well,
here's the replay, guys.
nice little screen pass. Good blocking up front by the Redskins. Erb just bowls his way for an extra 5 yards after the initial hit. The guy's got some powerful legs underneath him, Brian.
And that was Matt Jacobs who brought him down out of bounds.
Yeah, they even in pass, they go to Erb.
So first down for the Redskins, just outside the red zone again. No.
Flag is against Bath.
Yes. And Wapak will decline that penalty.
Penalty is on Bath.
So 7-0 Redskins, 3:14 left to go in the first quarter. This will be the 3rd drive Wapak has had. They scored on their last drive.
Right now, I think that offense is really demoralizing the defense of Bath.
Gibson brings the team to the line of scrimmage, and we have another whistle on the field. And Wapak will rehuddle.
There's an adjustment of the refs.
Yeah, I looked at they moved the
Spot.
ball back about 2 yards.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from Wapak from the 15. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see a little more of Brandon Logan Erb, excuse me. Gibson pitched the right side to Herb. He's
And a
got
flag
the
on the
corner,
play.
flag on the play, down to the 10-yard line.
I think we're looking at holding this time.
Yep, there's the call, holding on the offense.
So that's going to move Wapak back 10 yards.
Now, so many times in football, we hear about, penalties being a big key in the game, Brian. Just how big of a difference can they make?
Oh, tremendous difference. Like this penalty right here, it might stop them from making a score.
Yeah, it's going to move Wapak outside of the red zone. They were down to the 15-yard line. The ball's going to be spotted on the 25.
The old scenario about shooting yourself in the foot, and that's what basically they just did.
So it's going to be 1st and 20 for Wapak. 3:03 left to go in the first quarter. Kyle Gibson, 2 guys in the backfield. Receivers split wide right and left. Pass
Oh, my.
to Greg Stahl, and Stahl's down to the 5-yard line. A nice little slant pattern by the Redskins.
That was a perfect pass. Great touch right over the defender's hands into number 8. Who is
There's
Greg
a replay.
Stahl. Look at this. Right over the defender, right into Stahl's hands, and boom. That was a great play.
Again, 2 receivers or 2 backs in the backfield. 1 receiver split wide right for the Redskins. Gibson
That
hands
guy
off
does not
up
quit.
the middle to Herb, and he's in for the second score of the evening.
That is the Wapak line just plummeting Bass defense. I don't know what the answer will be for Bass defense.
Now you get a second look, and you watch Herb. He gets hit a few yards from the goal line, but he still was able to push his way across.
Yeah, he's a bull.
Yeah, he is. He's got some legs. Mickey Roadhouse in to kick the extra point for the Redskins. It's up and good. Wapak on top of Bath, 14-0, with 2:26 left to go in the first half. The screen pass that set this up, Brian, that was the play that made this drive.
Oh, sure. That was a beautiful setup play by what they've been going to all day so far is handing the ball off to Herb, handing the ball off to Herb. Play action, just throw it over the defender's hands right into our guy, Mr. What was his name?
Well, Corey Lee and Colin Bishop deep for the Wildcats.
Right into Greg Stahl's hands for a good gain. Logan Herb right now has 8 carries for 26 yards and 2 TDs. Not a bad performance for a start here.
No, it's not.
It's only the first quarter.
Now, the Wildcats, every time they've had the football, they've been deeper in their own territory, so it's kind of important for them to get some good field position to start this drive. No mistakes. Grodehouse with the kick. Nice kick down to the 9-yard line.
And we got a
Right
good
in the
return.
Colin Bishop up to the 35.
That was a good seam. Created on the left side of the field, ran right through it.
So the Wildcats finally have a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, we get a second look at that kickoff. No, as he fields the ball right there around the 13-yard line, comes right in
Yep.
behind his line.
Nice
There's the
wedge.
seam, he pops it out.
Makes one man miss. And nice return by Bishop. One back in the backfield. Pass to number 7, Colin Bishop again. Over his head, he was open.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity by Bath there. He was wide open. You get a second look at it here in a replay. He was wide open, just a little bit overthrown.
Yep.
And
Yeah, Aaron Smith just a little bit long on that throw.
now he got sacked in the last drive. He might have been hurrying that a little bit.
So we have 2nd and 10 from the 34. Handoff around the right side. Aaron Smith, and Smith is corralled at about the 38-yard line. And then a late flag on the play.
It's probably going to be against Wapak. Personal foul, I think. Oh my, it's against Bath.
Late hit against the Wildcats.
I didn't see it.
So the Wildcats get themselves some fairly good field position off the kickoff return, but now the penalty is going to drop them back to the 23-yard line.
And it'll be second down.
Second and forever. Second and about 20.
Detroit,
Second and long.
that's pretty long.
Second and 22 on the scoreboard.
They got to be opening up with pass, I believe.
Yeah, Davis is going to have to make something happen. He rolls to his left. Nice pass, intercepted by the Redskins.
That was good defense by the.
It looked like Cale Tabler over there on that play. I'm not positive.
Redskins take over, 1st and 10 from back 39-yard line.
So the Wildcats turn the football over back to the Redskins, and I'm expecting to see a little more Brandon Erb again. Gibson underneath quarterback. Handoff up the middle, and there we go with Erb, and he's got about another 5-yard gain. Offensive line is just dominating this defensive line of the Wildcats so far in the first half.
Very explosive, that offensive line. Very explosive, opening up those holes for Erb.
And Erb gets a few extra yards on every play just by the strength he's got in those legs, dragging people along and making people miss. Two backs in the backfield for the Redskins. Another handoff up the middle.
Yeah, he just ran into there's a big ball of both Redskins and Wildcats. There wasn't anywhere for him to go on that one.
Mr. Connor Pickens didn't have nowhere to go.
Got 1:01 minute left in the first quarter. Redskins on top 14-0. And the Redskins hurry up to the offensive line. 48 seconds and counting. Handoff left side to Erb. Erb gets the first down to about the 15-yard line.
I'll tell you what, a common recipe of success on this team would be Erb.
Yes, he is a beast. Gibson, handoff.
That's a touchdown.
Up the middle, and there goes Erb again.
He just swung it outside, made a quick move, and into the end zone.
Brandon Erb is putting on an offensive show for Wapak fans.
Here's the replay. There it is. Missed the move that he made, but he made a real quick move to the outside and then jaunted straight for the end zone.
Mickey Grodehouse back for the extra point. And I believe Wapak's going to have to call a timeout. They had a little mix-up on their special teams unit, not enough personnel on the field.
Steve, I've been informed it is Logan Erb.
Yeah, Logan Erb. I know his brother. That's the problem.
You know, we've been talking about the offensive line helping out Erb, but the other thing is he does a great job of putting that second effort in. Once he's made that hit, those powerful legs kick in, and he makes that lunge to pick up that extra yards.
Here's another replay.
Yeah.
See that quick move to the inside and then straight up the field, north and south.
And an arm tackle is not going to bring down Mr. Erb. So, Redskins line up for the extra point again. Mickey Grodehouse set. Grodehouse is 2 for 2 on extra points so far this evening, and he is now 3 for 3. Wapak on top of Bath, 21-0 with 26 seconds in the first quarter.
I tell you what, their offensive line, they got to be pointed out here. You got Trey Smith, Chris Schwartz, Maverick Lyles, Chris Weaver, and Brad Fleck, they are doing a fantastic job opening up holes for Mr. Erb.
So what's the Bath Wildcats got to do to get back into this football game, Brian? I mean, they've had some penalties. They've only had the field position one time where they didn't start inside their own 20, but then they went backwards with the penalties.
Well, being as just going into the second quarter and the score is 21-0, they're going to have to open it up. Bottom line, they're going to have to open up, use their passing game.
And I think one thing they're going to have to do is control, Logan Earp. They're going to have to slow him down.
But we need, in order to get the points, though, to get up to where they're close to the Redskins, they need to open up their passing game on their offense. Play action pass, what have you. They need to open up their passing game.
Corey Lee and Colin Bishop deep for the Wildcats. Grodehouse set to kick off. Another nice kick by Grodehouse.
My.
That ball was 8 yards deep in the end zone.
Oh, special teams is great, isn't it?
That's a leg.
He might go to OSU next year. Who knows?
That is a leg.
Is that a senior?
If he can do that anytime, he can just about go anywhere he wants.
Mickey Grodehouse is a senior. He might go to Ohio State.
So Brad Davis, see if he can generate something on offense for the Wildcats. Shotgun formation.
They're spreading it out.
And a handoff up the middle to Aaron Smith, and Smith with a nice gain.
Yeah, he powered through a couple different Redskins there.
It looks like Bath has already started.
Yeah, it looks like he powered through 3 defenders there.
Oh, they got a good back. They just got to utilize and start opening up some lanes for him to run.
It's going to be second and short for the Wildcats, and we have a timeout on the field.
That's the end of the quarter.
End of the quarter. So we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to Game Face Ohio. We'll be right back.
When you see an orange truck, you think G.A. Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because G.A. Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, G.A. Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is a voluntary, nonprofit association of more than 830 public and private high schools and approximately 850 7th and 8th grade schools.
Member schools vote on rules and regulations pertaining to eligibility, scholarship, and many other issues.
Sometimes we have to make tough decisions to enforce the rules, but that's just part of all the things the OHSAA does to make sure Ohio school sports are fair, safe, and fun for everyone.
Back to Harmon Field. Brad Davis under center, back to pass. Going deep for Colin Bishop. Bishop with a nice catch all the way down to the 31-yard line of the Redskins.
That was probably a perfect spitting image of Allen East's catch for the touchdown last week to win the game against Allen East. Colin Bishop.
Here's a good replay of it, getting out of that shotgun formation.
He looked right, then he went left. There's the catch.
Nice
catch.
Nice pass. So the Wildcats finally on the end. We have early movement.
Yes, we do.
And Bath is going to be penalized 5 yards for motion.
This game is being brought to you by Game Face Ohio. Just a little bit about Game Face. We cover 120 schools in 12 conferences, all athletic ability, all athletic sports.
Davis back in shotgun again. Hand off the right side to Aaron Smith. And Smith gets a little bit of the corner, gets about back to the original line of scrimmage.
was a good seam that was created for them. They're going into the 2-minute office trying to wear down the Wapak's defense. They got to think of somehow to get on the scoreboard.
Right there, they were all looking at their wrists. They're all wearing those wrist things that you see in the NFL where they can look at it and see what the coach is signaling to them.
Shotgun formation again. Again, complete to Matt Weiss. Another nice slant pattern by the Bath Wildcats. They're starting to execute through the air, Brian.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of the little zone. Watch this. He looks right at him. He just went into the zone.
Yep, found the dead spot in the seam and sat there, and nice catch by Mr. Weiss.
Yeah, and they're in that hurry-up offense.
Again, shotgun. And a handoff to Aaron Smith that's going nowhere.
Actually, looking at that, he actually should have jumped out on the left on that. Pumped it outside.
So it's going to be a loss of a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 11 for the Wildcats. But the Wildcats are moving the football on this drive.
And they're doing so very efficiently as well.
Through the air.
That's what they have to do.
Again, shotgun formation. Rolling right. Pulls it down and down to about the 18-yard line.
It was a good decision. You did not have anybody open, so he went ahead and took off running. As you see, he didn't have nowhere to go. He was being pressured. Comes around, pumps in left, tries to make something happen.
Gibson looking for the play from the sideline, and the shotgun formation seems to be working really well for them. Right now they have one back in the backfield, another pass.
There you go, wide open again.
Completed to Matt Weiss.
He is just shy of the first down on that one. Here's replay. Nice pass.
This is 4-down territory.
And a helmet tackle down to the 12-yard line.
4-down territory.
And going to have a timeout, and Bath is going to think about this.
You know, again, this game is being brought to you by GameFaceOhio.com. One thing that's great about GameFace is you can find anything you want about any sport or any league that you want to find out on our website at GameFaceOhio.com. And as I was saying, we cover 120 schools, 12 conferences, so that you can go in there and check out what's going on with your school. You can search a specific sport and find all of it about it. And they go out and they find the articles written by different news articles and newspapers and things like that, and pulls it all into one. And it just gives you a link to take you right there. So you can go out and find anything you want to without having to search all those different sites on your own. Just brings them all under one.
Great source for a sports fan.
It absolutely is a great source for a sports fan.
And it's a big play for the Wildcats. Again, shotgun formation for Brad Davis. He's going to roll right. Interception.
Whoa.
And a good return on that, too.
Mr. Cale Tabler with the interception. I'm sorry, folks, but that did look like pass interference. He got there before the ball got there.
There's replay. Getting out of the shotgun.
Colin Bishop's number 7 for the Wildcats, and he did go to the ground. We caught the tail end of that.
Yep, he looked like he knocked down the offensive player before the ball even got there.
Here's another angle at it.
Comes rolling out. Yeah, see, the offensive player's already gone to the ground.
Well, Wapak has the football. And it's another handoff up through the middle to Mr. Erb.
Yeah, Mr. Cale Tabler's having a good game on the defensive side with 2 interceptions in this game so far.
So Wildcats did advance the ball, but they could not put any points on the board. Wapak straight up the middle again.
Get the ball out to the 40-yard line, where it'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for the Redskins.
3rd and 4 for the Redskins.
Nate Hefner in on that tackle.
And Wapak is just dominating this football game to this point. Too many mistakes by the Wildcats.
Looks like Bath's coming up. Yep, there's the blitz.
And they got in there.
Good defense by the Wildcats.
They got to start taking risks, and that's on both sides of the field.
Yeah, you can see Bath brought the linebackers in. He just didn't have anywhere to go.
Grodehouse back to punt for Wapak. Deep for the Wildcats is Colin Bishop. Bishop calling for the fair catch. Nice catch by Bishop.
Yeah,
Saved some yardage.
Real good catch. He did a smart thing by coming up on that and making a good catch.
Ball's going to be spotted at the 28-yard line, Brian. And do you think the Wildcats are going to stick with the air plan?
They got to. They got to, Steve. In order to get something happening and they're doing great by doing the 2-minute offense, by the hurry-up offense. They're doing a great thing by doing that, but opening up the offense, making some passes. That's what's going to create them some points.
And they were really moving the ball well last drive as well, too, with that.
Davis in shotgun formation again. High snap. Nice hole for Aaron Smith up the middle, and he goes for about 14 yards.
Big gap. Big gap. Look at this replay. Right up there,
Yeah,
at
huge
least 5
hole.
yards. 5-yard gap right up the middle. Great job for the offensive line on the right side.
So when we think they're going to pass, they run.
It's going to be set up. Here we go.
Again, same play, up the middle.
Hey, don't break a broken wheel, or don't fix a broken wheel if it's not broken, right?
That's right.
Another 5-yard gain.
There's replay. There's that handoff we saw just a little bit ago. Again, offensive line getting the job done.
Right now, I just feel that Bath is setting it up, running up the middle. As long as that works, run it up the middle, and then boom, it's going for that long one.
Yeah, I expect to see them back in the air before very long at all. Quarterback keeper.
Around the left side, Bishop. Close to the first down. Depends on the spot, and it looks like he's going to be a half a yard short.
Good cut back.
Yeah, he's about half a yard short of the first down right now.
See, what they're able to utilize, though, Bath is able to utilize, is that they got a very athletic quarterback along with their good back, Aaron Smith.
It just opens up more options.
Exactly. They're running power I.
Yeah, 3 backs in the backfield, quarterback sneak, and Bath does get the first down.
There's replay on. There's quarterback keeper. Right through the gap. Picked up the first down with about 2 yards to spare.
Real good push right up the middle.
So the Bath Wildcats have moved the ball on their last 3 possessions, but they have no points to show for it. Shotgun formation. And a keeper to the left, naked bootleg.
Yep, that's what it set up. And he lost his helmet.
Down to about the 41-yard line. Another 5-yard gain for the Wildcats.
They're running off the same thing each and every time.
Give Bath the 2nd and 4 on the 41-yard line.
And Brad Davis, when he makes that cut to the left side, he was all on his own. No blockers in front of him.
Now let's think about this. If Bath is able to score a touchdown on this series, it's only going to be a 2-series game, okay? That gives momentum for them when they go in at halftime.
That's true.
Shotgun formation again. Going
He's open.
deep.
Look at this.
And he's open.
Oh, Bishop. Oh, he had him.
That was a beautiful play. What were we just talking about? Setting up, putting up the middle, setting up something that's going to be boom. He just missed. Look at this.
Yeah, he's all by himself, just short.
Oh, my goodness. He made one heck of a move on that defender.
Another opportunity missed by Bath. And we'll probably see that play again soon. 2 backs in the backfield, I formation.
That's a first down. That was a good hole.
Aaron Smith showing some power along the right side.
You see by their body language, goes right, look at that hole. Right up the middle, slams the one defender, and another takes 3 to knock him down.
They're not playing like a team who's down 21-0.
Davis, a handoff to Smith again.
There you go. There's a flag. Roughing. Unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, it will be a personal foul.
Needless to say, they're going to be a lot closer to that end zone.
Well, it's on the other foot this time, right, Brian?
Exactly.
And one thing I like to see from this Bath team right now is they got off to a slow start, and Wapak capitalized on that. But they're fighting. They haven't given up. They're sticking to it.
Oh, you can tell by their body language. They aren't out of this game, and they know that. Some teams will let themselves down. You can tell by them dragging their shoulders, but these guys are in it.
Penalty moves the ball all the way to the 14-yard line. And we have another whistle.
As of right now, this is Bath's best field position of the game so far, isn't it? It's as close as they've gotten.
Yes, it is.
They've been down here a couple times, and Brad Davis threw the interception in the corner of the end zone to Tabler. But they have been in the inside the red zone twice tonight. The last 3 possessions, they've actually moved the football. But it's penalties and interceptions, mistakes that doesn't allow them to put some points on the board. Picks the right side. Aaron Smith.
It was a good run. Good blocking by the backs.
And that's some power running, too.
Oh, Aaron Smith is no joke. Look at this. Look at those backs block for him. There you go. He pops out to the outside, drills the guy, takes 3 people to knock him down.
Yeah, he runs right over Alex Parker.
Aaron Smith has another bowl.
There goes Smith again. He's right at the goal line. No signal from the officials yet.
No, he's just outside. He's just outside.
He's going to be short.
Yeah, Aaron Smith is 5'7", 236 pounds, and when you're going forward on a defender, the defender stands no chance.
So it's 2nd and goal from the Redskins, or for the Wildcats, and we have a touchdown.
And there it is, Bath on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. And these boys have been working hard for it.
That's exactly what we're talking about. You get some points on the board before halftime, and that's just pure motivation to go in the locker room.
And Bath lining up for the extra point. Davey Briggs, and it's going to be unsuccessful.
That's a good job by the Wapak defense, getting in there and stopping that kick.
Yep, good push right up the middle. Here's a replay. Okay.
So the score, 21-6. Bath finally moving the football, and they overcame some mistakes on that drive, Brian.
Oh, sure, they overcame the mistakes because they started executing. They started following through with what they had planned. When you sit there and have a plan where you run up the middle, you run up the middle, you run up the middle like they were doing with Mr. Smith, it's going to open up so many different options, and that's what they utilized. That one, oh my goodness, that one pass down the field that was just over his head, that would have been a touch a long time ago.
Yeah, but even though it wasn't a touchdown, it made the Wapak defense back up a little bit to protect against that, which opened the run back up.
It works hand in hand.
Tabor back deep for the Redskins. Tabor, of course, had the interception in the corner of the end zone a couple series ago. And there's the kick to Tabor at about the 11.
Oh,
around the left side, missed tackle.
Oh, down the.
He's got the sideline. He's got one guy to beat.
Oh, here we go.
That's a touchdown, folks.
One guy to beat.
That's a touchdown. Oh!
Yeah.
That was one heck of a return.
Kyle Tabor having a big evening.
Oh, yeah, defense and special teams. This gentleman is having a great game. 2 interceptions already, and now a return for touchdown. 86 yards on that touchdown return.
See, he takes it, goes right across the field to the sideline.
One missed tackle. And an arm's not going to bring him down.
Great cutback.
Yep. Good move, and there he is.
And he gets some blocks along the way.
He's on a race, switches the hand. That's good to see on a high school running back.
Little stiff arm at the end to get him in the end zone.
He did a lot of running to get that. He ran across the field sideways twice and the length of the field.
It was probably about 150 yards that he ran on that.
And Mickey Grodehouse, 3 for 3 so far this evening with his 4th extra point attempt of the night.
I would have had to take a break on the first 50.
4 for 4 for Mickey Grodehouse on point after attempts. Wapak on top, 28-6, 3:32 left to go in the first half.
What a letdown by Bath special teams, and what a letdown for their team in a whole. They just make a score, and they kick it off, and they let Wapak run it all the way for 86 yards for a touch.
Yeah, it looked like they were starting to get momentum on their side. And one mistake like that.
It's those little mistakes. That was a major mistake, but still the penalties of earlier and different things like that. That dictates a game.
Yeah, they did overcome some mistakes, but they have been moving the football through the air and on the ground. The Bath Wildcats.
It's very unfortunate for that, for the Bath Wildcats. Great, fortunate play for Wapak.
Grodehouse set to kick again. Colin Bishop deep to receive the kick. Bishop at the 4. And he's brought down at about the 18-yard line.
Mr. Josh Wendell just forced his way in there for the tackle. Fumble, and Wapak picks it up, evidently. Absolutely wonderful. That was created by Mr. Josh Wendell.
Yeah, get another look at that. It was a great kick for one.
Bishop heads straight up the field.
Boom. Ooh, Mr. Wendell, nice.
Yes, he didn't have the ball tucked in.
Had it right there.
And another big special teams play for the Redskins.
Yep. Football is offense, defense, and what?
Special teams.
Exactly.
Gibson hands off to the left side.
That's
there
a
he goes.
touchdown.
Pickens.
My goodness.
Pickens
What a momentum change in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, that's all it's been, about a minute and a half. And they've taken back a
There it is.
touchdown. Look at that line. The line opens up semi-holes. That was a 22-yard run.
Mickey Roadhouse for his 5th point after attempt this evening. And again, he's up and good.
5 for 5. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Little counter. Burst through the hole, and he's gone. Touch.
He's big, and he's strong, and he's just got enough speed.
And the thing is that he looks like a spitting image of Mr. Erb, and he's only a junior. Connor Pickens is 6'1", 210 as a junior. He'll be back next year, folks.
Grotehouse. Another kickoff for the Redskins. And Bryant, it's not looking good for the Wildcats side.
No, it's not, but I tell you what, they cannot give up. You never give up in football. You watch these players, see what their attitudes look like. You cannot give up. Keep on punching away. They were working it well. Their offense was working down the field.
Yeah, in fact, the last time the offense touched the ball, they put touchdown on the board.
Nice kick by Grotehouse. He has a nice leg. 7-yard line. Up to about the 24.
And Mr. Morgan Wiseman was in there on that tackle.
And Bishop on the return again.
Now, I don't think this is going to change. I think they got to just keep it opened up, and they got to keep on with the hurry-up offense.
Yeah, I would expect to see him back in the shotgun formation and just opening up all those options, throw, the run.
And Davis hands off to Aaron Smith. Smith around the left side picks up about 8.
Aaron Smith is a good back now. I mean, he makes some cutbacks. He's got some good speed to him. Bath just needs a couple good breaks on their side to get back in this game.
Yep, 2nd and 1 for the Wildcats.
He's got some power in those legs too, Smith does.
2nd 1 for the Wildcats.
Shotgun formation. Rolls right. And a little bit off the mark. Down at the feet. Brad Davis not real accurate on that pass.
Yeah, there's the shotgun. He didn't get a chance to really set up.
A little bit of pressure. Corey Lee. And Corey can't handle that pass. I formation. Receiver split wide right, wide left, up the middle.
Nice power run by Smith.
Picks up the 1st down for the Wildcats. Taking the ball out to their own.
Now going into the end of the first half, clock management becomes a real key for Bath as well, Steve. Getting the 1st down stops the clock.
Yeah, 2:29 left to go in the first half. Bath would desperately like to put some points on the board.
It looked like a fumble. They're indicating there's a fumble out on the field again.
Wapak's, signaling for their
No,
ball.
Ref is calling it down.
Officials are pointing.
The ref is calling it down. This is a tremendous story. You got Alex Greavy out there. He made a tackle earlier that he was hurt during the summer, and this is his first game back this year.
Shotgun formation. Smith rolls to his right, makes the connection out on the right side of the field. It's going to be about a 6-yard gain.
About a yard shy of the 1st down on that.
It's going to be about 3rd and 1.
I'm not sure why they're not utilizing that hurry up. Oh, they are. They are. Okay.
Again, 2 backs in the backfield.
That's a first. That's
And
more.
some. And
That's
there
a
he goes.
touchdown. That's a race.
Aaron Smith
That
down
is
the
a race.
right side.
Aaron Smith got it. No penalty flags at all.
That was a good, solid run by Aaron Smith.
I'm telling you, that Aaron Smith is a good back.
Yeah, he is. He's got some speed, some power. There's the replay.
Boom.
Made the cut right out to the hole. Textbook right there.
Oh, he plowed that guy down. Yeah, he's a powerful back. He's got some speed, too.
So do you think they'll go for 2, Brian, since they missed that first extra point?
You know what? It's a possibility because that would make them down only by 2 possessions. Or 3 possessions. It'd make it 21-point lead.
Yeah, I was about to ask if that was the new math.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes we don't do so good. Aaron Smith has 11 carries for 126 yards. That right there was incredible.
That's impressive.
Yes, it is. That's about like how Mr. Erb was last week as far as yards per carry.
Here comes Bath. We'll see if they decide to go for the 1 or 2.
Looks like a formation of going to extra point. You got Smith right there in the backfield.
Yep, I formation.
Going for 2.
I think at this point of the game, you don't jeopardize the momentum of missing that 2 point. I think you just get the extra point, take the momentum, and go with it.
And you know, well, go ahead, Steve.
Wapak takes their final time out of the first half.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve? Do you think they should go for 2 or
Yeah,
just the 1?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. You need
Exactly.
points.
It'll also motivate them for going into halftime. They get that 2-point conversion, that tells them more about their team.
Wapak wanted to see the way that Bath was going to line up, whether they were going to kick or go for 2. And once that decision was made, they called the timeout. And Coach Fry pulls them over to the sideline, gives them some instructions, and I'm guessing it'll be Aaron Smith with the football.
Hey, I think that's a good guess.
I formation in the backfield.
Play action might work here. There it is, play action. Up, up. Oh, he could have ran it in.
Yes.
He could have ran it in. That's too bad.
Good defense by Wapak. They did string that out to the right side.
Look at this. He comes out here, good fake. He runs out, and he has nobody in front of him. He could have jumped it in.
Ooh, that could have been a flag.
Little extracurricular activity.
This is football.
Yes, it is.
They're just keeping relations.
So Wapak 35-12. Bath at least moving the football, so they have the potential to get back in this football game. Still a minute left, 7 left to go in the first half. Onside kick.
Good possibility. Good possibility. We don't have our hands team out here for Wapak right now, and that's probably what they're thinking about over here with Bath. But you got to think also that you got a minute and 5, minute and 6 on the scoreboard. That might be if they do an onside kick and Wapak gets it. That's enough time for that Wapak to score.
It is offensive. Wapak has moved the ball real well all game long. I wouldn't give them a chance to be close. I'd put it back as far as I could. But then again, last time they didn't need the offense to score, did they?
That's why we're up here. We don't make those decisions.
So Bath set the kick off. And it is kicked deep. Up the middle, 25, 24-yard line. Cale Tabler again on the return.
Yeah, and he was brought down by Colin Bishop. number 7 from Bath. And we've heard his name a couple times tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we
Receiver
have.
and on special teams now.
Tabor, just not a lot of room to run. Good defense and special teams by that time by the Wildcats.
1 minute to go here in the first half.
Like Pickens, straight dive on the right side.
Yeah, and Wapak, I think, will be content just to run out the clock.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything fancy.
Oh, we really haven't seen anything fancy all night with them, really.
That's true.
Kyle Gibson. Hands off to the right side to Stoll. First down, Wapak.
Yep.
And that'll stop the clock just long enough to get the chains moved. Then once they get the change reset, they'll start the clock back up.
See what kind of fire is in Wapak's team right now. If they're going to just settle for going in at half or actually trying to score. I think they're just going to settle for half.
Wapak basically just running their normal offense, which does kill the clock. Pickens around the left side, and he's gang tackled.
That's half.
Going nowhere, and that will be the end of the first half. Wapak on top, 35-12 over the Bath Wildcats. A lot of points put on the board in the first half here, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, a couple of times that Wapak got some very fortunate things happen out on the football field for their team, which led to this big lead that they have right now. Bath, however, started moving the ball, and again, they got some unfortunate things happen on the football field. That's why we got a 35-12 lead. Unfortunate happenings on the football field for Bath.
Yeah, Bath got themselves back into the game, the penalties and the interceptions. We're going to go to halftime. You are listening to Game Face Ohio on TSC. We'll be right back.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for bright lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think G.A. Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because G.A. Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, G.A. Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is a voluntary, nonprofit association of more than 830 public and private high schools and approximately 850 7th and 8th grade schools.
Member schools vote on rules and regulations pertaining to eligibility, scholarship, and many other issues.
Sometimes we have to make tough decisions to enforce the rules, but that's just part of all the things the OHSAA does to make sure Ohio school sports are fair, safe, and fun for everyone.
The OHSAA provides excess catastrophic accident insurance for student athletes participating in all 24 OHSAA sports as well as student managers, trainers, and cheerleaders. Unlike most other states, this coverage is provided at no cost to OHSAA member schools. And while we wish there was no need for such coverage, it provides peace of mind for students, school officials, and parents.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol is a proud partner with the Ohio High School Athletic Association in the nationwide Buckle Up for a Successful Season program. The goal of the program is to promote a safer highway environment by reminding and encouraging student athletes, coaches, cheerleaders, band members, and fans to buckle up everywhere, every time.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is committed to developing well-rounded student athletes.
To support our continued education, the OHSAA and its foundation award more than 50 scholarships annually, totaling over $50,000 to graduating student athletes.
In addition, the OHSAA Foundation hosts leadership conferences around the state, where student athletes participate in sessions on group dynamics, role modeling, positive sporting conduct, and much more.
So don't sit on the sideline. Get involved.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for Bright Lightning High-Speed Internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because GA Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, GA Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association recently celebrated its centennial. For more than 100 years, they have administered school sports as an important part of educational programs in Ohio. They believe in Ohio student athletes and the importance of the promotion of academics, good citizenship, and lifelong values. Visit ohsaa.org for more information and join us in supporting school sports in Ohio.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association licenses over 16,000 officials in 16 different sports.
OHSAA officials are parents, teachers, police officers, firefighters, homemakers, engineers, and bus drivers.
Officiating gives us a chance to give back and support kids across the state of Ohio.
It's a tough job, but we love what we do.
Nearly 350,000 students in grades 7 through 12 across Ohio participate in 24 OHSAA sports. The association sponsors high school state championships in 12 boys sports and 12 girls sports.
In all sports except football, every school has the opportunity to participate in the state tournament.
Competing schools at regional and state tournaments are reimbursed for some tournament expenses.
And unlike many other states, Ohio schools do not pay membership fee to belong to the association and do not pay tournament entry fees.
In conjunction with tournament managers across the state, the association works diligently to provide memorable experiences for students, parents, schools, and communities. So join us in celebrating school sports in Ohio.
And welcome back to Harmon Field in Wapak, Ohio. We have a 35-12 halftime score. Wapak on top. And for the Bath halftime stats, Mr. Brian Lang.
Well, Steve and Anthony, Bass halftime stats goes as follows. First downs, they had 11 first downs. Penalties, they had 4 penalties for 35 yards. They had 3 turnovers. Let's see, Brad Davis on passing attack had 4 completions out of 11 for 62 yards, but he had 2 interceptions out of them. Colin Bishop, he had 2 attempts for 2 yards. Aaron Smith, he had 16 carries for 126 yards. Brad Davis had 5 carries for 16 yards. And Aaron Smith and also Brad Davis had a touchdown apiece. Colin Bishop had a fumble. Let's see, on the receiving end, you had Corey Lee. You had Matt Wise with 3 completions with 30 yards. Colin Bishop with 1 completion of 39. And defensively, they had Keaton Sullivan with 9 tackles. He's the head of their defense. Nate Hefner with 6. Corey Lee with 3. Colin Bishop playing both ends of the field with 5. And then Garrett Hinderdas with 2. And that's it for the Bath stats.
Yeah, Bath moved the football down the field, but it was turnovers, penalties, and mistakes, or they would be right back in this football game.
Sure they will. Like I said before the half, that it was complete just misfortune for Bath out there on the football team, out there on the football field. The interception, the kickoff return for a touchdown, execution on special teams and execution on offense, little errors made them go down so deep, 35-12.
And the stats for Wapak.
Yeah, passing.
Anthony.
For passing, we have number 12, Kyle Gibson with 2 attempts, completing both passes for 36 yards. 1 pass to Logan Erb for 16 yards, and the other one to Greg Stahl for 20 yards. For rushing, we had number 8, Greg Stahl with 3 attempts and 12 yards. We had number 32, Connor Pickens with 9 attempts for 45 yards, touchdown. His longest run is 22 yards. And number 34, Logan Erb with 18 carries for 69 yards. His longest for 25 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns, and Dickens has 1 touchdown. Defensively, it's been a little bit all over the place, which is what you like to see. They've got number 33, Zach Finnerbach with 6 tackles. They've got number 29, Royce Cantner with 6 tackles. We got 24, Brandon Wilson with 2 tackles. Number 14, Trevor Raines with 3 tackles, 1 for loss and 1 sack. Number 9, Alex Parker with 5 tackles. Number 4, Alex Grieve with 3 tackles. Number 77, Nathan Bracey with 2 tackles. Number 6, Connor Mertz with 2 tackles. And number 5, Cole Tabler with 2 interceptions. Their kicker, we're going to talk about the kick returner, Cole Tabler, with 3 returns, 122 yards, and one of those was for 86 yards and a touchdown.
And that gentleman also has 2 interceptions today.
Yeah, here's a replay of that 86-yard return.
Yeah, he takes it right up the middle of the field.
And then cuts out
And
to
then,
the
yeah,
left.
and then he cuts left.
Now he hits the sideline for a little bit, and you're going to see he's going to cut all the way back across.
That was good cutback. That's what made the touchdown right there.
And then it becomes a foot race at the end and a little stiff arm.
Notice he switches the ball from one arm to the next. Here comes one of the Wapak touchdowns.
And that was probably Brandon Erb, right? Or Logan Erb. Logan Erb right there.
That's just showing the power, and the line just push.
And then here's a great run by Smith from Bath.
Boom.
You saw the power there. And it's just a foot race from here on out.
And actually, within the offenses, Aaron Smith is winning as far as yards compared to Erb tonight.
Yeah, and as we said, Bath moves the football. It's just turnovers and a couple mistakes on special teams and some untimely penalties that have cost them when they were down in the red zone.
Yeah, when they were down in the red zone on that one, that actually, it looked from up here as being a pass interference. It was very unfortunate for Bass offense, but it cost them a score.
Now, one thing, and both teams have made mistakes. Let's not say Wapak hasn't, but I think the big difference is Bath made some pretty big ones at key moments, and Wapak was able to capitalize on those mistakes.
Well, a lot of the Wapak good field position, they have started with good field position all night because of special teams. Grotehouse has made the extra points. Hasn't missed one yet tonight, 5 for 5. Special teams have been flawless for the Redskins.
Yeah, extreme flawlessness is what Redskins have been on every part of the field. I mean, they're shooting on all cylinders right now. Everything that they do has been working, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, whether it be special teams. They are taking advantage of every opportunity that they can, and that's what the difference is tonight.
So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. You are listening to Game Face Ohio on TSC.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for bright lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think G.A. Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because G.A. Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, G.A. Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange G.A. Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is a voluntary, nonprofit association of more than 830 public and private high schools and approximately 850 7th and 8th grade schools.
Member schools vote on rules and regulations pertaining to eligibility, scholarship, and many other issues.
Sometimes we have to make tough decisions to enforce the rules, but that's just part of all the things the OHSAA does to make sure Ohio school sports are fair, safe, and fun for everyone.
OHSAA provides excess catastrophic accident insurance for student athletes participating in all 24 OHSAA sports, as well as student managers, trainers, and cheerleaders. Unlike most other states, this coverage is provided at no cost to OHSAA member schools. And while we wish there was no need for such coverage, it provides peace of mind for students, school officials, and parents.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol is a proud partner with the Ohio High School Athletic Association in the nationwide Buckle Up for a Successful Season program. The goal of the program is to promote a safer highway environment by reminding and encouraging student athletes, coaches, cheerleaders, band members, and fans to buckle up everywhere, every time.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is committed to developing well-rounded student athletes.
To support our continued education, the OHSAA and its foundation award more than 50 scholarships annually, totaling over $50,000 to graduating student athletes.
In addition, the OHSAA Foundation hosts leadership conferences around the state where student athletes participate in sessions on group dynamics, role modeling, positive sporting conduct, and much more.
So don't sit on the sideline. Get involved.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for Bright Lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor.
Welcome back to Harmon Field in Wapak. Redskins on top 35-12 over the Bath Wildcats. It's been a high-scoring football game for the Redskins. Not a lot of mistakes, and they've been putting points on the board. Anthony?
Okay, well, this is Brian. During the first half, what had happened there is that complete dominance by the Wapak Redskins on both sides of the field and also special teams. It was amazing what they're doing. All they're doing is just punching it through the middle. They've only thrown twice, just like basically a spitting image of last week's game against Bell Fountain, and it's successful. You know, you don't fix a wheel that's not broke, and that's what they're doing. They just keep on punching it and keep on punching it, and it's working out.
And if Bath can get back into this game in the second half, they are going to have to eliminate the penalties. They had the 2 turnover interceptions in the first half, and they had some excellent field position. They had some good drives, but they just couldn't finish.
Yeah, I tell you what, Bath's offense can move the ball. Bottom line, they can move the ball. They've shown it during the first half that Aaron Smith is one heck of a runner. He has more yardage rushing than what Mr. Erb does for Wapak. They got to air it out in the second half. They got to sit there and do play action. And I think they got to stick to that 2-minute offense, the no-huddle offense, to be able to get some points on the board quickly. They're going to get the ball back in the second half, and they need to score their first series to get some motivation going.
Well, Brad Davis has been able to move the quarterback for the Wildcats, has been able to move Bath either in the shotgun formation or up under center. They've mixed the pass and run, especially later in the second quarter. And
yeah, I think that was the key. The success we saw from their offense later in the first half was they started moving the ball around. They started passing, handing the ball off, quarterback keeper around the end. They started really kind of changing it up, and then I think that's about the same time we started to see them really successfully moving the ball.
What kind of changes, Anthony, do you think that Bath is going to have to make on defense in order to hold off Wapak's dominating offensive line?
Well, that's a tough call, Brian, because they've looked fantastic this whole first half. But I think the main thing is they're going to have to key in on that defensive line. They're going to have to dig in, and they're going to have to prevent them from being able to pick up. You know, the line is moving them back 3-4 yards off the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to stop doing that. They're going to have to get in there, maybe have some more blitzing, bringing those linebackers up there. Getting more aggressive, and I think part of it is just get aggressive, go after them.
That's what I was going to say. More blitzing. Whenever you blitz, you create confusion on the offense. But the only thing is, though, if you blitz the wrong hole and they go through the other hole, they're going for a touchdown, like we've seen them happen.
Yeah, but when you're down by 3 touchdowns, you can't afford to play it safe.
You got to take risks. You got to take risks. Steve?
And special teams has been a big factor in the first half. Wapak, no mistakes on their special teams. Bath's given up the long touchdown run on the kickoff return just after they scored a touchdown, and then Wapak returns the ball, 86 yards?
86 yards, yep.
For the touchdown return by Tabler. Special teams are going to have to step up for the Bath Wildcats, too.
Yep. Tabler, that gentleman is having one heck of a game on the defensive side. He should be the defensive player of the game. He has 2 interceptions, and he also has the kick return for the touchdown. So he's having one heck of a game as well. The whole offense on Wapak's team is the offensive player of the team.
Yeah, it's a unit.
Player of the game. It's a whole unit tonight.
And I think that again, that's the key. I mean, so often you hear that people talk about an individual, a standout star, but with Wapak, and they do with Logan Erb, but it's on the shoulders of his line as they move as a unit, which is a key to their success.
And Bath will get the football to start the second half. So it would be for them to have an opening drive. The first 2 drives they had in the first quarter, they started inside their 10-yard line. So, again, special teams, they need to get this football out so the offense has some room to work.
Oh, positively. Absolutely, Steve.
So Mickey Growthhouse set to kick off and get this second half underway. Deep for the Bath Wildcats is Colin Bishop.
And here we go.
Mr. Growthhouse.
And we've seen some good kicks from him all game.
Yeah, but this one's out of bounds, and that's going to be a procedure penalty against the Redskins.
I spoke up just a little too soon on that.
Yes, you did.
I'm looking at the wind. You just threw it off his foot.
Yeah, I think it's just a misstep.
Yep.
So Bath will start at their own 35-yard line.
Well, Steve, you were talking about starting off with good field position. I think that counts.
Yes, it does. Davis back in the shotgun again. High snap.
Oh, now see, I don't agree with that. They've gone back, Bath that is, to the same offense that they had last half. All right. Wapak just showed that they made some adjustments.
And that was Aaron Smith around the right side for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, that was a gang tackle, too. There's a whole group of Redskins right there.
So we'll see who made better adjustments during the halftime talks with both coaches.
I'd like to see Bath come out with some passes here. They had some success with that in the first half.
Nice little shuttle pitch.
Oh, my. It looks like their defense is just keying off of that Aaron Smith. They're going right at him. They may have stuck 2 people on him.
Yeah, well, it looks like Wapak's going to make Bath possibly throw the football to beat them.
Well, I don't see why Bath doesn't throw it. They haven't thrown it yet, and you got to open it up.
And earlier on, they had some pass plays where, they had the one that was just a little overthrown and would have been a touchdown. They've had some big opportunities with the air attack. They haven't capitalized on it, but the opportunity's been there.
So we got 3rd and 11. And Wapak coming on the blitz on the right side. Ball thrown behind Brad Davis.
Yeah, that was bad timing on the receiver and quarterback side.
Pressure coming from the right side of the Redskins defense.
And that's going to bring a 4th down, and I would expect to see punt.
Got Johnny Crawford back, as well as Mr. Greg Stahl.
Fair catch called.
Mr. Crawford with the fair catch.
And Wapak will take over at their own 32-yard line. So 3 and out.
Not a good sign for Bass offense, but let's see what they can do on defense and hold down Redskins.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about the 37-yard line.
Gibson under center.
And there's that blitz.
And there goes
That's
Mr.
what we were talking
Erb.
about. Wow.
The quick hitter off right tackle.
Wow. They blitzed the wrong hole.
Well, that was just impressive.
That was quick.
That was impressive.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Look at that.
Right off the right
there.
tackle.
Yep. Popped it outside, missed tackle, and he's off to the races.
And also, Colin Bishop, that downfield block, too, allowed, Herb to make that late cut.
Mickey Grotehouse for his 6th point after attempt tonight.
Herb he sure does know how to find that end zone, doesn't he?
He does. He's got a nose for it.
Point after is good. 42-12. Wapak.
I tell you what, that Mr. Herb, he has 14 carries for 132 yards and 4 TDs now. Completely awesome. And that gives credit to that offensive line for Wapak.
It sure does. It's the whole unit.
Mr. Grotehouse will have the kickoff duties.
I'd like to take this opportunity to mention that offensive line, if I may. Chris Schwartz, Trey Smith, Chris Weaver, Brad Fleck, and also Maverick Lyles doing an awesome job for Wapak tonight.
Again, Colin Bishop deep to receive the kick for the Wildcats. Grotehouse.
Another good kick.
Down to about the 7-yard line.
Oh, there's an opening.
Fumble. It's bouncing around. Bass got it.
Again,
number 60 for the recovery.
There was a good hit right here to knock that ball loose.
Mr. Patrick Roberts. There, pop loose. Way to get the hands on the ball.
So Bass going to take over at their 25-yard line. Handoff up the middle to Smith, and he'll get a couple.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, that's a good run. Here they are with the no huddle, as we were explaining before the half started.
Yeah, it'll be 2nd and 7. Ball just short of the 30. And Bass taking a lot of time. Davis, handoff up the middle to Smith.
I don't really agree with what's happening with Bath, but hey, maybe they might be setting up that big play.
So it's going to be 3rd and 4.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that quarterback keeper that we saw a couple times in the first half.
They got to open it up.
Yeah.
Bottom line, they got to open it up.
Yeah,
And a lot of times being punched off that clock.
Right now, the clock is not Bath's friend. There's your play.
Swarming defense.
Anthony just asked for that play, and he got it.
Well, I didn't ask for it. I just said I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it.
Royce Cantner with the tackle, along with his associates. Many of them.
Matt Weiss back to punt. Greg Stoll deep for the Redskins. Fair catch. Nice catch. 42-yard line. It's
Go ahead.
It's going to be a tough road home for the Bath Wildcats now. I mean, they've got to come up, step up defensively. They cannot let Wapak get any more points on the board.
I will agree with you, Steve.
See if they stick with that blitz that they started with.
They didn't blitz that time, but look at this. Look at this.
Mr.
That's a
Erb,
foot race.
left side again.
Another one. That's a touch. That boy knows how to find that end zone.
That left side of that line for the Redskins is doing some damage.
Oh, the whole offensive line is their offensive line is incredible. Here we go with the replay.
Breaks 2 tackles, and it's see ya.
Tell you what, this Wapak has great discipline as well.
Growthhouse again for the extra point. And he remains perfect on the night. 49-12, Wapak on top, and this is pretty much more points than Wapak scored all last season when they only had 1 win.
Well, they talked about before the season that it was going to be a different team this year under the new leadership of Coach Doug Fry. And I think we're seeing that it's effective leadership.
Yeah, it's basically the same offense that Doug ran in St. Mary's when he was coach of the Rough Riders. Moved over to Wapak this year, and
he's implemented some discipline with this team. You could see it in every aspect of their game. Their offensive line, their defensive line, their special teams. Mr. Erb, Logan Erb, has had just this half, mind you, two rushes, okay, for 126 yards and 2 TDs.
Yeah.
So let's just get the ball to him. Why not? Huh? What say you?
I think we're going to see some second teamers here pretty soon for the Redskins. Growthouse's kick, and he's got a leg. That's down to the goal line. Collin up to the 25, 27.
Good return.
We were talking about the discipline of Wapakoneta. I like what I'm seeing from Bath. I mean, it's not showing on the scoreboard, and Wapakoneta is really dominating. But Bath, their heads are still high. They're not, sluking around the field, just looking like they're defeated. They're still in the game. They're still fighting.
And that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do to get through the rest of the season. It builds character.
Davis under center. 1 back and 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff to Smith. Smith over left tackle. Pick up about 3-4 yards.
That Smith is a powerful back. He is a good back. And I think he's going to be doing some good things this year for Bath High School.
Handoff to Smith. And he's close to the first down. But these 3, 4, 5 yard runs aren't gonna get it to get back into this game at 49-12.
Yeah, they're just burning up the clock, and they don't need to burn up the clock.
Yeah, Brian, you were saying earlier, they just need to open it up, and they just need to go for it. If they want any chance to get back into this.
I put it this way: their quarterback is athletic, utilizes athleticism, going on the outside or what have you as far as pass attempts. They had a 70-yard pass attempt for a touchdown last season, or last week.
Mm-hmm. So we know they can do it.
Yeah, we know they can do it. They've even showed they could do it during this game.
And so the officials do give Bath the first down. Again, 2 backs in the backfield. Pitch to the right to Smith. And he picks up about 6. Some tough running by Smith.
Alex Parker got the head of Aaron Smith at his chest, knocked him right down.
Picks up 6 on the play.
That Aaron Smith is a powerful back now.
Yes, he is.
That's the Wildcats 42.
Looks like Smith's going to get a little bit of a break.
And the clock is moving.
They might have delay a game here pretty soon.
Yeah, they're down to 8 seconds on the play clock. Close.
Yeah, they're good now.
Yep, they're good. At
That
least
was-
as far as the play clock was concerned.
End around to Corey Lee, and that was sniffed out by the Wapak defense.
Yeah, their middle linebacker, Zach Fehrenbaugh, just skated down the line and got at him.
And the clock keeps running.
Brings up a 3rd and 7 at the Wildcat 38-yard line.
Big 3rd down. Nice pass to Colin.
That's their go-to guy.
Colin Bishop.
Yeah, here's the replay on that. We've been talking about going back to the air and opening it up a little bit.
Yeah, Davis rolls to his right and hits Collins Bishop right on the numbers on the right side of the field.
Yep, right in the zone.
First down. Stops the clock. Aaron Smith up the middle again. Gain of a couple.
Little confusion.
Shotgun formation for the Wildcats. Smith takes off, and he's going to be sacked.
Too much time back there holding the ball. Wapak just annihilated their offensive line.
There's a replay. Yeah. See him dropping back.
Nathan Bracey in on the sack.
Yep. He had nowhere to go.
3rd and 13 for the Wildcats on their own 37.
3rd and 13. Shotgun formation.
In the blitz.
Rolling left. In some trouble.
Threw it out of bounds.
Yep, had to get rid of it.
Davis pass sails out of bounds, bringing up a 4th down.
Think to go for it?
They have to.
Yep. They line up as a punt formation.
Matt Weiss set back to punt. High snap, he gets the kick away, and it's short.
But he gets a good bounce.
Oh, real good bounce. 15, almost 20 yards.
Yes, it will roll dead inside the 20, about the 16-yard line.
Well, this is the worst field position that Wapak has had in a long time tonight.
It is. Now, we hope you're enjoying this game, but take a moment to let you know some of the other sporting events that we will be filming throughout the year. Of course, we'll be having football on Friday night. We're also having boys and girls soccer. We'll be doing boys and girls basketball during the winter, some baseball, softball, and volleyball now.
Wapak with the football, starting out at the 16-yard line. Handoff inside to Stoll. And he's about 2 yards short of a first down. With the clock running down in the third quarter, three and a half minutes to go. Receiver wide right.
I'm really surprised that Herb is still in the game with 3:18, 3:17, 16 left to go in this third quarter.
Yes, and he just carried the football again.
Oh, he's a horse.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a horse.
Oh, absolutely. But
you can't risk that injury, I don't believe.
I would agree with you, Brian. At this point, I would take him out, let him rest, because you're going to be using. I mean, you've used him a lot this game. I think you're going to be using him a lot throughout the whole season.
Yeah. I know the kid wants to play. We all want to play. We're in their position.
Gibson under center. Quarterback sneak.
I think they got it.
And the officials are going to mark it as a first down.
I also want to take a moment and let you know about our mobile correspondence program. You know, throughout the year, you might be at a game and you having a smartphone, a BlackBerry or a Droid, and you can get signed up with our mobile correspondence to give us live updates that are instantly available for people to see of the different sporting events throughout the year.
Handoff left side over tackle to Herb, and he picks up another 4 yards.
So, Brian, with that mobile correspondence program, you could be at a Bath and Wapakoneta game and another game in Allen East going on, and a mobile correspondent updates their
Elida, whatever.
Whatever. They update it, and it's shown instantly on our website. So you could be at this game, check the website on your smartphone, and have those live up-to-date scores of all the local sporting events going on through that mobile correspondence program. It doesn't cost anything, just get signed up.
2nd and 5 for the Redskins. Handoff right side to Stoll. Doesn't get the corner. He's brought down, maybe a gain of 1.
What's that website again, Brian, that you got to go to get signed up for that? GameFaceOhio.com.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I was just checking at stats. Sorry about that, Anthony. Mr. Herb has 203 yards on 17 carries tonight. Almost a match. It's probably going to be more than what he had last week.
Maybe that's why he's still in.
Yeah, that's 2 consecutive weeks, over 200 yards. Not much on the right side that time.
Bath read that perfectly.
That brings up a 4th down.
Yeah, they got upon it, dude. Yeah.
And right at 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Colin Bishop set to receive this punt. On the run, up the right side, makes a move.
Good move.
He's got a hole.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What a return.
Nice tackle by Connor Pickens.
Here comes the replay. That was a great return. He did some couple good moves on that.
Yeah, he juked the first 2. Wait, he called for fair catch.
1 move, 2 moves.
Yeah, Brian, I think I saw it too.
Like
I think he looked like he caught off a fair catch.
Oh, well, that's all right. They need this.
So the Wildcats starting in Redskin territory. 41-yard line. Excuse me, 36-yard line.
Let's see what they do here. They need to get points on the board just to satisfy their pride, if anything.
18 seconds left in the third quarter.
Hey, if they're going to talk, they got to call a timeout.
I think they might be looking at the fair catch. I don't know, but we'll see.
And here they go.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay.
Shotgun.
Oh.
Oh, a little bit high.
Got away from him. That's for sure.
Davis had him, but
Oh, yeah, it was a good route. The throw was just a little bit high. I don't even think I could have caught that.
yeah, you're probably right.
Brian, you're what? 6'5"?
6'5".
Smith to the 35. And that's going to run out the third quarter.
And yep, that'll do it.
Oh, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Game Face Ohio on TSC.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol is a proud partner with the Ohio High School Athletic Association in the nationwide Buckle Up for a Successful Season program. The goal of the program is to promote a safer highway environment by reminding and encouraging student athletes, coaches, cheerleaders, band members, and fans to buckle up everywhere, every time.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is committed to developing well-rounded.
Welcome back to Harmon Field. Bath on the move down to the 30-yard line.
Just a quarterback keeper for right up the middle.
Davis hasn't had his best night of the season, but he's made a few plays.
But he's an athletic quarterback. He has good promise there.
Clock continues to be the enemy of the Bath Wildcats. Shotgun formation, throw to the left side, incomplete.
Looks like he threw it a little behind him on that.
I don't know if the weather's having something to do with his hand or not, but he threw that one over the one guy's head. Now this one down to the ground. Maybe it might be slipping out of his hand a little bit.
So the Bath Wildcats are going to turn it over on downs, and Wapak will take over at their own 31.
Yeah, this Wapak offense has been pretty much unstoppable this whole game.
And we got Herb still in the game.
Yes, Gibson also. And it's a handoff up the middle.
No one takes him down with one tackle, one arm.
And that's Herb doing what he does best.
Oh, I wish we could see
tackles.
this again.
Wow.
He went through 5 people, juking and jiving before they finally were able to bring him down with at least 2 guys.
And he moves the ball out to about the 42-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Redskins.
We had a referee timeout, I think, for equipment. Bath switched out.
I think they probably had to move the chains. Don't know.
Gibson,
Look at this.
handoff up the middle again.
Mr. Pickens.
Yeah, and he started that one with a hurdle.
Yep. I tell you, Pickens is a spitting image of Herb. He's only a junior. He'll be back next year. Things are looking good for Wapak football.
We have a timeout on the field. And a helmet problem again. Brandon Perry having problems with the snaps on his helmet.
So what do you think is going to happen throughout the season there with Wapak and Bath, guys?
Well, I think Wapak is on their way up. I mean, Wapak only won one football game last season, and they've already doubled that at this point tonight.
Do you think this might affect Bath's motivation and attitude? Do you think they'll be coming out next week and actually more motivated to stomp the guys that they go against?
Well, I think so, and I say that based on what I'm seeing on the field now. I mean, they're down 49-12, but their heads are up. They're still fighting. You know, the defense is fighting. The offense, they're still trying to push for the yards. I like what I'm seeing from their attitudes.
Well, Wapak will be visiting Salina next Friday night, so time will tell. Nice hole on the right side.
Stole in for a touchdown. I think Wapak might make the playoffs this year if they keep this up.
They look like a playoff team to me.
Oh, my. Again, that
Here's
line.
a replay. You get a chance for the replay. Oh, camera guy lost the ball. There it is. That's one thing I've seen from this quarterback. He sells the fakes, too.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier, but I just didn't. He sits there and he goes and fakes it, and he keeps running like he's going to throw it or he's running with the ball. He's doing a great job.
Growth House again for the point after. And again.
Splits the uprights.
He's perfect on the evening.
I don't know if we'll see a field goal from him all year. Just, extra points.
But I feel confident he can make it.
I do too. He has a kick. He has a foot.
Yes, he does. The one kickoff was 5 or 6 yards deep in the end zone.
Uh-huh.
So, Brian, after this game, going into tomorrow, if you wanted to go back and be able to relive some of these moments, where would you go to do that?
www.gameface.ohio.com.
That's right. Starting tomorrow, you'll be able to see this game in its entirety on our website at gamefaceohio.com, along with any other game that we've ever videoed or broadcasted. It's a great chance to relive moments, to see those plays, and see a game that you didn't see before. Not only that, but if family members aren't here, no matter where they are, they can go online and see their nephews or grandsons playing.
And the ball falls off the tee. And I can feel the wind picking up here in the booth.
We got a stat here. Wapak's rushing, overall rushing as of right now is 35 rushes for 339 yards, 7 TDs.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Growth House, another nice kick down to the 4-yard line.
Good return. Good return.
Yeah, Colin Bishop with another return. So things are looking up for the Redskins. Handoff up the middle to Smith. Smith picks up about 5 yards.
No, Brian, a follow-up to that stat you just shared with us. That puts them at just over 9.5 yards per carry on the average.
Overall between 2 games.
Yeah. Well, the 37 for 339, whatever the stat you just gave us.
339 yards.
Yeah, that's just over 9.5 yards per carry.
Handoff to Smith again off the right side. He's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Josh Hartman in on the tackle for the Redskins.
And for the Bath fans, next week they'll be in St. Mary's. At home.
Davis under center, looking left, and he fires the ball short to Collin.
It looked like Collin slipped on that one.
And it's another 4th down situation for the Wildcats. Matt Weiss back to punt. No pressure from the Redskins. Stoll's going to let it bounce.
That's what he needed to do.
It's going to roll dead about the 11-yard line.
That was overall a good punt.
Yes, it was. Excellent
it took
punt.
About 60 yards. Got a flag?
Yeah, it looks like it. One down on the field.
It's there on the 30-yard line.
We got one back here at the 46, too.
And it looks like Wapak's going to
multiple.
Yeah, there is flags everywhere.
Have you guys seen the call?
No, I have not yet. Offsetting penalties. So it's going to be a re-kick. Bath just can't catch a break. They have a great punt down to about the 12-yard line of the Redskins.
Yeah, overall, this has not been their night. But you know what? A great thing about Bath right now is seeing those kids. All right? Those kids are still motivated. They're not dragging their shoulders, putting their heads down. They're still motivated. They still want to perform out there. That is fantastic.
So that was a personal foul against the Redskins marked off for 15 yards. And now the yardage will be marked off against Bath at 15 yards. So it's kind of a moot point.
Is that a new rule where you mark them both ways? Or I thought offsetting, you just do it again from the line.
Yeah.
So what do we got then?
So I believe it's going to be an automatic first down for Bath.
Nope, it's still.
Okay.
The scoreboard's still showing 4th down.
Right. And the marker's showing 4th down.
Officials are still discussing it out on the field.
We'll get it straight. We will figure it out.
And there's Coach Miller from Bath talking with the referees. Sure, he's asking questions too. He may be making some statements as well.
Well, he isn't kicking his feet or anything like that.
He doesn't look happy.
They're moving the chains back.
So it is going to be a first down.
So it looks like Bath might have caught a break.
Yes. Actually, yes.
I would have liked to have been a fly, though, right out there while Chris Miller was talking to his refs.
So it was some type of personal foul penalty to give the Wildcats the automatic first down. Davis pitched to the left side. Up to about the 41-yard line, but the clock keeps on rolling.
Yeah, just 8 minutes left to go in this game. Bath has a long way to go.
Yes, they do.
And I don't see Smith out
I was
there.
just going to say that. Smith is not out there for Bath.
They're probably thinking what you were thinking earlier about making sure they keep him for the season, not risk an injury, as we were talking about earlier with Herb.
And it's a pitch to the
Oh,
right
no,
side.
fumble.
It's a fumble. And Colin makes good hands to pick it up. Colin Bishop.
Yeah, it bounced right to him. It's like a basketball.
Looks like he got back to about the line of scrimmage, so it didn't look like he lost anything.
Yeah, he got back to the line of scrimmage. But they lost it down, basically.
Yep.
And some time.
Well,
There's a
they don't
replay on
have
it.
any
There's
more
a
of that,
there's where he
really.
picked the fumble back up, made a good cutback, was able to get back to the line of scrimmage. It's a good effort by Colin.
It's going to be 3rd and 8. Shotgun. And the Wapak defense
was all over him.
Yes, he was.
Well, I guess they're just wanting to find out what they can and can't do on the offense for having these running plays. It's just killing clock, killing clock, killing clock.
It's a good time to try things, too.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Matt Weiss back to punt. Stoll deep for the Redskins.
Short snap.
It's a high kick. And Stoll lets it bounce. It's going to go out
That's
about the
32.
31-yard line. So Wapak will take over again. Flag on the field.
Getting kind of sloppy.
I'm assuming it's probably going to be a block in the back.
Yeah, waiting for a signal from a referee so we know exactly what the call was.
Yeah, it was an illegal
No, it's
block in the back.
Against Wapak.
So the Redskins will be backed up to about the 15-yard line.
Yeah, they're at 11. No, 16,
11.
sorry, 16.
Yeah.
16. Got a good crowd here at Harmon Field.
And beautiful weather for football.
Absolutely.
Like Doug Hurt in at quarterback for the Redskins. Handoff up the middle. And number 34 is not in the game, Brian.
Well, it's about time he's not in the game.
Logan Erb. Bath player injured on the field. Can't get that number. And we are going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. You are listening to Game Face Ohio on TSC.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is committed to developing well-rounded student athletes.
To support our continued education, the OHSAA and its foundation award more than 50 scholarships annually, totaling over $50,000 to graduating student athletes.
In addition, the OHSAA Foundation hosts leadership conferences around the state where student athletes participate in sessions on group dynamics, role modeling, positive sporting conduct, and much more.
So don't sit on the sideline. Get involved.
Welcome back to Harmon Field. Brandon Perry coming off the field on his own power. That's good to see that.
Looks as though he hurt his wrist, arm, or maybe even the shoulder.
Doug Hurt still in at quarterback for the Redskins. Split right, wide right is Zach Dietering. Pitch around the left side.
And Mitch Skinner, a sophomore, in on the tackle for that one in Bath.
And Tabor's in the backfield for the Redskins.
You know, he's going both sides of the ball, special teams. That's a special player.
Yeah, it is.
A productive player, too.
And he's just a sophomore.
There you go. Even to be out there on the field, he has to be special.
Two backs in the backfield. Hurt rolls left.
Holds on to it.
Keeps the football, gets out of bounds, stops the clock.
First down.
And the Redskins just keep on rolling.
Even with the second string.
Yep, just under 5 minutes to go in the game.
Well, folks, if you get a chance, you got to come out here and watch the Wapak Redskins perform.
Receiver split wide right. I don't believe and it's a trap play to the right side. .454 left in the football game.
Josh Chandler was on the carry for that.
Yeah, a lot
Wendell, sorry.
All new faces on the offense for the Redskins. Jensen Miracle ended at end.
Mr. Hanksler.
Yeah, Holden Hanks were stacked up in the middle of the line.
You know, Brian, if you're Bath, what can you take from this to go back and, you know, after defeat like this, it looks like, what can you take back and try to build upon?
I think they're building upon it right now. The way they hold themselves during this basically 56-12 slaughter tonight, the way they hold themselves builds character for where they can carry on in the rest of the season.
I'd agree with that, 100%.
Hurt hands off to number 2, Jensen Miracle. And the Wapak Redskins are going to have to punt. And Mickey Grotehouse has been a busy guy tonight between kickoffs, extra points, and punts. It's a high, short kick. Good bounce. Bath will take over about their own 34-yard line.
Yeah, he got about 10 yards off that bounce.
Yeah. He's been doing good with that leg tonight, that's for sure.
Just over 3 minutes to go in the game.
And again, Aaron Smith doesn't come back in on the offensive side of the football for the Wildcats. I formation in the backfield. Mitch Skinner in at quarterback for Elida. Or Bath, excuse me.
What did he just say?
I think he said Elida.
.239 clock rolling. Pitch to the left side.
Yeah, see, this is what they need to do as far as Bath and also Wapak. Stick your other players in there, your second string, third string, so they get that experience to carry them on to the end of the year. If somebody goes down, somebody's going to have to step up, and that's what this experience is doing.
Not only that, it has been known that somebody steps up, and when they get that shot, all of a sudden they look like a whole new player on Friday night as a second string, and then they get a shot at being the first string.
Then they'll say, the audience will say, who was that?
Skinner with the quick pitch.
Oh, drop.
That was a first down.
Right on the money.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a better pass.
Yeah, it looked like he just turned his head a little bit and lost track of it. And
let it go
just
into his
came out.
pads instead of just trying to catch it with the hands, I believe.
That was Doug Sanders on the missed reception. And the Wildcats back to punt. Bad snap, nice hands, good kick. Jensen Miracle with the fair catch for the Redskins.
There's a replay on the punt.
Oh, the third down of the drop.
The miss.
Yeah, he let it go into his pads, and it bounced off his pads. He tried to gather it. If you're a young receiver out there, catch the football in your hands, then pull it in.
That's a common mistake, though, isn't it? Try to catch it in your pads like that for the younger ones.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a younger receiver, you need to start learning how to catch the ball with your hands.
Handoff left side to Jensen Miracle, and he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good workout for that is just take a football while you're laying around in bed, throw it up in the air, watch where it comes down, catch it. Perfect, just on your own to catch your, work catching it right in your hands.
It'll be second and 11 for the Redskins.
The crowd is still here. They haven't gone nowhere.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Hurt with the handoff up the middle.
And earlier we were talking about what Bath can try to take from this and move forward. What can Wapak look at and say, this particular thing really worked for us? What would you say that would be?
Everything.
Everything.
No, really, everything. They are running on every cylinder they got. Bottom line, their offense, defense, special teams has been outstanding. Of course it was in Bell Fountain, and we've seen it firsthand here tonight. Now, next week, where do they go?
Salina.
They go to Salina. If they can keep up this momentum, they're going to be hard to beat, and they might win a state championship, folks.
That's a tall order there, Brian, but they do look impressive tonight. Hanks for the ball carrier around the left side. Doug Hurt still in the game for the Redskins, a quarterback.
And that'll do
Yeah,
it.
it's early in the season, Steve, but you never know.
You never know. WBL is going to be a tough league this season.
Well, the team's going to have to come to Wapak, if they're going to meet Wapak, they're going to have to be ready to play.
And this one ends with the score of 56-12 Redskins. And it's been all Redskins all night.
Yeah, I think the attitude of the Redskins is, as old Al Davis used to say, just win.
Yeah, just get it done, but they did it the right way.
So we are going to take a commercial break. You are watching Game Face Ohio on TSC.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for bright lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because GA Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, GA Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is a voluntary, nonprofit association of more than 830 public and private high schools and approximately 850 7th and 8th grade schools.
Member schools vote on rules and regulations pertaining to eligibility, scholarship, and many other issues.
Sometimes we have to make tough decisions to enforce the rules, but that's just part of all the things the OHSAA does to make sure Ohio school sports are fair, safe, and fun for everyone.
The OHSAA provides excess catastrophic accident insurance for student athletes participating in all 24 OHSAA sports, as well as student managers, trainers, and cheerleaders. Unlike most other states, this coverage is provided at no cost to OHSAA member schools. And while we wish there was no need for such coverage, it provides peace of mind for students, school officials, and parents.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol is a proud partner with the Ohio High School Athletic Association in the nationwide Buckle Up for a Successful Season program. The goal of the program is to promote a safer highway environment by reminding and encouraging student athletes, coaches, cheerleaders, band members, and fans to buckle up everywhere, every time.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association is committed to developing well-rounded student athletes.
To support our continued education, the OHSAA and its foundation award more than 50 scholarships annually, totaling over $50,000 to graduating student athletes.
In addition, the OHSAA Foundation hosts leadership conferences around the state where student athletes participate in sessions on group dynamics, role modeling, positive sporting conduct, and much more.
So don't sit on the sideline. Get involved.
What you looking at, Michael?
Oh, relax, Sherry. It's nothing that you'd be interested in.
I wonder what he's been doing on the internet for so long. He's got to be up to no good.
Okay. Here you go, Sherry. Happy birthday, dear. Call TSC for bright lightning high-speed internet today and surprise your wife. That is, if you can.
When you see an orange truck, you think GA Windsor & Son Company. But the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, we want you to think green. Why green? Because GA Windsor & Son are the original recyclers. Using a modern fleet of trucks, GA Windsor & Son Company collects food co-products from restaurants, food retailers, and food manufacturers in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky. These food co-products are used to manufacture quality livestock and pet care feed ingredients. So the next time you see an orange GA Windsor & Son truck, think green.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association recently celebrated its centennial. For more than 100 years, they have administered school sports as an important part of educational programs in Ohio. They believe in Ohio student athletes and the importance of the promotion of academics, good citizenship, and lifelong values. Visit ohsaa.org for more information and join us in supporting school sports in Ohio.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association licenses over 16,000 officials in 16 different sports.
OHSAA officials are parents, teachers, police officers, firefighters, homemakers, engineers, and bus drivers.
Officiating gives us a chance to give back and support kids across the state of Ohio.
It's a tough job, but we love what we do.
Welcome back. We are back at Harmon Field. The Wapak Canetta Redskins, 56-12 over the Bath Wildcats. Brian, with that kind of a score, you know Wapak has some big numbers in the stats.
Wapak does, but I'm going to go over through Bath's right now.
Don't do Bath first. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. With Bath, they had a total of 14 first downs. Penalties, they had 4 penalties for 35 yards, which is pretty good. Turnovers, they had 3. Between Brad Davis and Mitch Skinner, they had 6 of 18 for 75 yards and 2 interceptions. Colin Bishop, he had 5 attempts for 18 yards with 1 fumble. And Cody Sherman had 2 attempts for 5 yards for the rushing. Aaron Smith, big night for him, 28 carries, 156 yards with 1 TD. Brad Davis had 9 carries for 16 yards and 1 TD. And Corey Lee had 1 carry for a -3. Total offensive rushing and passing, 45. Rushing is 45 attempts for 192 yards with 2 TDs. And then on the receiving end, you got Matt Wise with 3 receptions for 30 yards and Colin Bishop with 1 reception for 39 yards. On the defense, Mr. Keaton Sullivan had 14 tackles, Nate Hefner 8, Corey Lee 7, Colin Bishop 6, Mitch Lehman, he had 2, Keaton Lawrence had 1 tackle, Mr. Heingardner had 3, and Mr. Perry had 4. As far as the special teams, looking at Mr. Davey Riggs, he had 1 extra point. The punter, Matt Wise, he had 8 punts for an average of approximately around 30 yards per punt. And then punt returns, you had Colin Bishop with 2 returns with 44 yards. And then also Colin Bishop with a kick return. He had 1 fumble on the kick return, but he had a total of 7 returns for approximately 20 yards per return. And that's it for Bath.
And the Wapak stats.
Yeah, we had Kyle Gibson at quarterback with two attempts and 2 completions with 36 yards, one of which was to Logan Erb at 1 attempt or 1 completion for 16 yards, and Greg Stoll for 20 yards. On the rushing, we had Greg Stoll with 6 attempts and 62 yards with 1 touchdown, his longest run being 42 yards. Number 7, Doug Hurt with 1 attempt for 5 yards. We had Dickens with 11 attempts for 55 yards. We had Cole Tabler with one run for 4 yards. Logan Erb, 19 runs at 221 yards and 5 touchdowns. Kyle Gibson with 1 run and 1 yard. Number 47, Holden Hegingster with 4 runs and 11 yards. We have number 27, Joe Windler with 1 run and 1 yard, and Jason Miracle at 11 yards and 11 attempts, or 2 attempts and 2 yards. On the ground, they did 47 runs for 357 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's a 7.63 average run per carry. Defensively, they were strong too. They had a lot of different people contributing. They had Zach Fehrenbach with 12 tackles, 3 of them for a loss. Number 29, Royce Kantner with 11 tackles. We had Brandon Wilson with 6 tackles. Trevor Raines with 9 tackles, 2 for a loss and 2 sacks. Alex Parker with 6 tackles. We have Alex Grieve with 3 tackles. We have Nathan Bracey with 3 tackles. Connor Mertz with 5 tackles. And number 5, Cole Tabler with 6 tackles, but 2 interceptions to go along with that. Cole Tabler also had 3 kick returns for 122 yards, and of course that 86-yard touchdown return.
That was on the kickoff, right?
Yep, that was a kickoff return for 86 yards touchdown. And we had Grotehouse, number 1, Mickey Grotehouse, with 8 extra point attempts and 8 good kicks.
Yeah, Grotehouse, he was a busy guy kicking extra points tonight and kickoffs too. The kid's got a strong leg. So Bath falls to 1-1 on the season. Wapak goes to 2-0. Wapak will travel to Salina next week. And it's been like a mirror finish of last week's game when Wapak won 42-10 against Bell Fountain. This week 56-12. And Mr. Erb, he was the guy that carried the load tonight for the Redskins.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was, Steve. And the whole thing, the reason why he was able to carry that load was because of that offensive line. That offensive line gets off the ball really quick, really fast. Look at this right here. The run down the edge, he just pops it outside and he goes right down the sidelines. I mean, it's perfect offensive line basically for tonight and last week. It's going to be something to look at for the rest of the season. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it up, and if they do, like I said earlier, there's a chance that they could actually get a state title here with the way that they are playing right now on all cylinders. And this is early in the season. You don't see teams playing on all cylinders this early in the season. That just goes to their coaching staff.
Yeah, special teams. Tabler on defense with the 2 interceptions. And again, the kickoff return. And he also ran some plays in the backfield. He was also a special player for the Redskins tonight. It was a total team effort, offense, defense, special teams. Anthony, any final comments?
Well, there are some things I like to say about Bath. One, when you go in a game like this, I mean, you're excited, and to have this kind of result is obviously heartbreaking. But what I liked was their attitude as the game went on. They continued to hold their heads up. They kept their shoulders up. They weren't over on the sideline looking like a defeated group of teenagers. They acted like young men, and that's ultimately what it's about. And I was real proud to see that from Bath, and I look forward to, I think they're going to really grow from this, and I expect that they'll do well against St. Mary's next week.
Yeah, it'll just build character for their team, and it'll go on throughout the year.
And it's been a special night for the Redskins in Wapak. Coach Fry for the Redskins, his second consecutive win as the Redskins' new head football coach, and he's got to be a happy camper.
He sure does, and looking forward to a good season.
And thank you for listening to Game Face Ohio on TSC. Good night, everybody.